Fellas, is it embarrassing when your wife does something nice for people? That's what's happening today, apparently. G'day there guys, it's your main man Markee, and welcome back to another episode of r/AmITheA. Now, if you love today's content, I want you to sit back, relax, chug a prawn of the Barbie, and get ready for it, cause it's a bit interesting. Am I the asshole for telling my wife it's embarrassing she gave our daughter's bus driver cookies? Some important details. My wife is very shy, but enjoys giving and is all gung-ho about showing appreciation to workers she assumes aren't appreciated or recognized. She tries to pass these beliefs on to our kids. Because she's too silent to show her appreciation, she does it through gifts, usually baked goods. I've been embarrassed about it in the past. Our oldest rode the school bus for the first time. My wife was waiting at the stop with our daughter and had her hand the bus driver a bag of house-made cookies. Then when she picked her up from the stop in the afternoon, she gave a bag to the afternoon driver. I asked why she did that when she could have just as easily said thank you and left it at that. She said the bus drivers work so hard having to comfort all the nervous kids and handling the unbehaved one while driving, and they deserve more than a thanks. I reminded her that this has embarrassed me in the past, and I think her behaviors are too extreme. I wouldn't want gifts from someone I don't know. She ignored how I felt. I contacted some people in my life to see if I was just the crazy one here, and most of my friends and my mum agree. My wife's way of showing thanks just makes everyone uncomfortable. Am I the asshole? OP, I see two possible scenarios going on here. Either she's doing more than just handing out cookies and going above and beyond to make people uncomfortable, or you're just lying to us. You're just uncomfortable with her doing this because it's not something you would want done to yourself. That sounds like a you problem, not an everyone else problem. You're the asshole for this one. Now in the comments, Redoubtable South says, "You're embarrassed by your wife giving out cookies as a thank you? That's a weird thing to get embarrassed about having a thoughtful, considerate, and kind wife. You're the asshole." I just want to add that right now, my state is facing a severe shortage of bus drivers due to you-know-what. These people aren't just doing some menial job. They are literally risking their lives in a pandemic to safely help kids get around. A generous donation of cookies is the very least we can do to show some gratitude. People like OP who seem to think otherwise are huge assholes. And edit to add, thanks for the award. For those asking, I'm in Ohio, at least until grad school is over. Apparently one of the school districts here was closed today, literally because of a lack of drivers. This made me so sad. I'm also someone who is shy, but likes to do things like get people small gifts or make baked goods. My inner mind constantly tells me, they're gonna think that you're weird. Everyone hates you and thinks you're weird, but I just try to tell myself that I'd rather have people think I'm weird when I have good intentions than just never try to be kind. It's mostly been met with positivity, but it makes me sad to know that OP and all his friends and family think that it's inappropriate. You're the asshole. Even if I wouldn't eat a bag of cookies from a stranger, I would by the way, I just know some people wouldn't, I would appreciate the gesture and realize they'd gone out of their way to make me feel good. You were shaming your wife for having found a way to express herself despite her shyness. You're embarrassed by someone showing kindness. Wow. You're not just an asshole, you're a dick, and so is your mum. Our next post is by user Private Conversation, titled, "Am I the asshole for kicking my brother-in-law out of my house for asking this question in front of my friends? My, female 31, brother-in-law Tim, male 30, lost his wife 8 months ago. To be honest, we aren't close. We've never been close due to his brutal honesty and his hurtful remarks to me all the time. He stopped paying rent to his former apartment because he doesn't work and asked to move in with me and my husband. I had reasons to say no. One of them is that I'm taking care of my 5-month-old son. It's hard, but with Tim's constant requests, like cooking for him, cleaning his room, and fixing stuff for him, it is 10 times harder. I tried to be graceful and suck it up, but he's becoming annoying, constantly commenting on my weight, saying things like, Are you comfortable looking like that? Or, wow, you've changed so much since you had the baby. It's annoying, but my husband asked me to let it go since Tim is grieving and isn't thinking rationally. Yesterday was the final straw. I had my best friends over for the first time after my son was born. We were in the living room chatting while Tim was asleep, as he sleeps till 4 p.m. He showed up later and sat with us and started taking part in the conversation. We were talking about being busy all day, and he interrupted me and asked, "So when are you planning on losing that baby weight? I guess you should take advantage of the last month of summer and get in shape before it's too late." I was in shock and dismay and embarrassed by my friends going radio silence like that. He doubled down by looking at me, waiting for an answer. I bluntly said, "Actually, I'm not planning on losing any baby weight anytime soon, unfortunately. But I am, however, planning on losing some dead weight that is you and your never-ending demands all day every day while I'm trying to care for my newborn." He told me to chill, but I got up from the couch and said I couldn't put up with this anymore and he had to pack and leave. He didn't think I was serious, but then he headed upstairs and called his brother. My husband came home after my friends left and called me ridiculous for kicking his grieving brother out over a question he asked. I said he embarrassed me in front of my friends and that I was done catering to his demands from cooking and cleaning while trying to care for my infant with no sleep nor self-care for myself, and this is how he treats me? He agreed, but said kicking Tim out would be cruel, nuclear, and unnecessary since we can work things out differently. I refused to discuss it, and then he said he had to go. I gave him 2 days to find a place to stay, and my husband is convincing me I was making a mistake and should have had some empathy towards Tim and his situation as a new widower, and besides, it's my husband's home too, so I can't make this decision alone. Did I overreact here? Edit, answering some questions. A. Why do I keep cleaning Tim's room and doing stuff for him? Because he doesn't do it himself. He leaves everything messy and has no problem sleeping in a filthy room with food and clothes all thrown around. B. Why isn't my husband helping? Well, that's because my husband works full-time, but he does his share of chores at home, and being a new parent, we are more stressed and exhausted than any other time. And C. Is Tim always like this? Yes, even with his own wife. Though her death was so devastating for him he couldn't talk for a week because of the trauma, but this is his character. And yes, I shouldn't act surprised now, but given the fact I'm helping him out, I expected some form of appreciation. Yeah, I'm gonna go not the asshole for this one. He shouldn't have continued with those questions. I get that he's going through some trauma and he's dealing with grief, but you can deal with grief and not be a complete asshole. It is in fact possible to do that. You have been strong this entire time and you've brushed off all of his stupid remarks, his questions, his laziness, his inability to look after himself, and he waltzes into this conversation and just attacks you straight away with you and your friends there. That is ridiculous that he would ever do that. Your friends would feel terrible. They're like, who is this guy to be saying this to you? What is going on right now? Cringe, embarrassing. If I were you in this situation, I would be dying on the inside, and it's amazing that you were able to come up with a clapback so easily without, being upset, crying, or anything. I don't know if I could do the same myself. But him saying that and then doubling down and asking when you're going to lose the baby fat is just repulsive. That behavior is unacceptable and he should have been out of the house last week for that. That's enough to cut contact with him. I don't care if he's grieving. You don't say that to me. You don't say that to my wife. If I was the husband of the situation, I wouldn't be enabling this, yet he is. You can't hide behind your grief for that one. I'm gonna go not the asshole, and I agree with you wholeheartedly, OP. Now in the comments, Brandy8Marie says, not the asshole, but if I were you, I'd be evaluating the people near and dear to you. 1. Your husband shouldn't have let him disrespect you in the first place with not only his rude comments, but his cooking and cleaning demands. The misogyny is strong with this one. 2. Your friends shouldn't have gone radio silent. No hate though. Not everyone's confrontational. But I would have rolled up my sleeves if that happened to my friend. Anyways, this dude sounds like a middle schooler that is actually attracted to you, so tries to knock down your self-esteem so that you think maybe he's all you deserve. Sorry about the loss of his wife, but being an asshole widower doesn't make the asshole part any less prominent. Totally agree, mostly on the husband end. I think the friends could just be shocked and didn't want to overstep any boundaries, but I hope they reached out after. When I've lost someone, I get more clingy and cherish the people I have left, so the way he was acting isn't something that I would normalize. I can be a good friend, but I'm not getting into someone's family fight. Well, maybe it's because I'm neurodivergent, but I've never understood this kind of logic. If someone has the audacity to be this rude in front of me, I will speak up in defense of my friend. Social norms be damned. Not the asshole. Tim is being a dick. And why on earth does he expect you to cook and clean for him? He's an adult and he should be doing that for himself. He doesn't work. He lives with you for nothing and he can't even flick a duster around or make some lunch? I'm tempted to suggest his wife faked her own death to get away from him. If he stays, he needs to do his share. Grieving is not an excuse to treat me like crap. Repeat as many times as necessary to your husband. Just kick brother-in-law out. He may be grieving, but that's not an excuse to demand that you act as his maid/chef and let him degrade you. He's vile. When are you going to stop being a freeloading asshole? Would probably slip out of my mouth. Not the asshole. Our next post is by user Coffee A through Y, titled, "Am I the asshole for policing my wife's caffeine intake?" So my wife and I are in our 30s and have been married for 2 years. My wife frequently likes to have a cup of coffee in the evening, around 2 hours before going to bed. I have observed that this makes her settle into bed more slowly. I've mentioned this to her many times. She has a chronic pain condition which is probably impacted by the caffeine intake, making it harder for her to do routine things and leaving me to pick up the slack. When I've mentioned it, she says her doctor does not believe caffeine intake affects her condition. That's not really my point. It's more about her overall health being impaired by less restful sleep. This week, I decided our household should be coffee-free and discarded the coffee machine and pods. I told my wife that if she'd like to drink coffee, she should get one from the cafe on the way to work. This is not a financial hardship, and I rarely drink coffee in the home anyway. My wife has been very mad at me for policing a habit that she enjoys and considers harmless. I noticed she's gone to bed more smoothly since the coffee was left at home, but as she continues to be angry and short with me, I'm beginning to wonder if I went overboard. Am I the asshole? Yeah, look, I'm gonna have to say that you're the asshole for this one. I get that you want to help her, but doing this without talking to her about it was not the way to go in this situation. Really, the only thing I can see you doing to remedy this situation is apologizing profusely and buying another machine, because at the end of the day, this is only going to cause more arguments and fights, and it's detrimental to your wife to just do that to her. I know that you're observing benefits and detriments here and there with her coffee intake, but really it's not your job to police that. So I'm going to have to go you're the asshole for this one. Now in the comments, Sarah Kaz says, "You're the asshole. Your wife is an adult, and wasting food products is childish." I seriously hope this post is fake, because I would be pissed if my partner threw my coffee pods and machine away without asking me first. And according to a doctor, it's not a problem. If you are not a doctor, you should defer to the person who is. You were supposed to be a team. Making unilateral decisions and treating her like a child like this is ridiculous. Caffeine withdrawals are also sometimes painful, which could make your wife's condition worse, which may be why she's settling into bed faster, by the way. You asked if you went overboard and are you the asshole? Yes, you did, and yes, you are. OP taking his wife's caffeine away definitely will make her condition worse. Caffeine is a pain reliever. It's in almost every pain reliever. I actually knew someone whose doctor told them to take caffeine pills for her migraines. So taking caffeine away cold turkey will not only give her caffeine withdrawals, but also take a source of pain relief away. Quote, "Caffeine is a pain reliever." If it was a pain reliever, it would be by itself and marketed as such. Caffeine can help pain reliever drugs work more effectively. That's why it's in a pill with them and not marketed separately. The suggestion for using it for migraines is what caffeine does to blood vessels and pressure, and not as a pain reliever. Similarly, drinking a glass of wine or beer when a migraine is starting can help it go away, though using caffeine has the potential for withdrawal symptoms if you stop taking it. You're the asshole. She's a freaking adult and your wife, not your child. Grow up and have a conversation with her about drinking coffee earlier in the day. Don't literally throw out a coffee machine that I assume you both own without even consulting her. Massive asshole. Buy her a new one with her favorite pods to apologize and have a real conversation about the timing of drinking coffee and sleep, not her condition. Which, sorry, unless you're her doctor, you don't get to comment on. Geez, I'd do almost anything to get my spouse to quit smoking, but I can't imagine a time when it'd be appropriate for me to go and throw away his cigarettes. He's an adult who makes stupid decisions, and it's not my job to police him. And I'm guessing your spouse's doctor doesn't tell them smoking is perfectly fine and isn't harming them. Even if you did something that rude and disrespectful, theoretically you'd have a doctor's support. Except that going cold turkey through nicotine withdrawal is pretty horrible, so even your spouse's doctor might advise against such a step. JFC, I can't wrap my brain around acting like that with a spouse. And our next post is by user Shadowed in Scarlet, titled, "Am I the asshole for not wanting much to do with my unborn sibling?" I'm 26. I spent my teenage years babysitting for my younger brother. I dropped out of college to care for my mother while she was physically disabled, and through many really bad bipolar moments, I currently care full-time for my other brother who has severe autism, but is trying to learn independent skills to move on to independent living. My moments of on-off care from the ages of 15 to now have prevented me from developing friendships and relationships because I find myself very housebound and only able to go out for a few hours in between meals and not allowed anyone around as he doesn't like visitors. I've always said that my brother will be the last person that I care for. I don't even want my own kids because I'm fed up with having to devote myself to someone else's needs. After my brother, in what I can only imagine is still 10 years away, I want my life to finally be mine. Then my mother, at 48, tells me that she's pregnant. She's admitted on keeping the baby and expects emotional support and for me to be a big part of the kid's life. I told her no, I probably wouldn't be, and that I didn't really care to play a neutering or caring role in anyone else's life again. I don't want to do the big sister thing again. I want out. I've been called ungrateful, selfish, racist because the kid would be mixed, heartless, and abusive. I get that having a baby is hard, so maybe I should have been nicer, but it's not my choice. Am I the asshole for not caring for my new siblings like I do my others? Edit, a lot of people are asking for the baby's father. They were dating, but at 56, he's made the decision that he really doesn't want a baby and walked away when they couldn't agree to an abortion. As far as he's concerned, he's had his kids, he's got 2 grandkids, and he's not interested in being a father again. Unfortunately, he was misinformed by my mom about birth control and fertility. The dad to me and my brothers is unknown to any of us. Yeah, look, you're 26 years old, OP. You don't have to go and look after these people. That's what state programs are for. And by the sounds of things, I think you're in America. That's just where most of these are posted. It isn't, and it shouldn't be your responsibility to care for another baby and your autistic brother while all of this has been put on you your entire life. She's 48 years old, and the father doesn't want to be in the picture. You don't have to be in the picture either if you don't want to. Go and live your life, I say. As heartless as that is to a lot of people, you're not morally obligated to stay there, and I don't think you're an asshole for leaving. So go and do that, not the asshole. Now in the comments, Attitude Remarkable 87 says, "Definitely not the asshole. It sounds like it's time for you to break free and have a life of your own. Did I understand you to say that you feel committed to caring for your brother for the next 10 years? Sorry, no. That's not your responsibility. That responsibility falls squarely on your mother. You say you cared for her when she was disabled, yet she finds herself healthy enough at 48 to have another child. Please extricate yourself from all of this and start anew. Go back to college and start your life, for real this time. I'm rooting for you. And don't forget that at a maternal age of 48, chances are the new baby will have issues as well, especially since one child already has severe disability. Not the arsehole. My heart goes out to you, OP. Please don't give in to your mother. It's high time that she acts like a mother. She's 48 for frick's sake. And what exactly does OP have to be grateful for? Grateful for dropping out of school and becoming an unwitting carer? The mum should be the grateful one for having support. The rest of the quote is just pure nonsense and a pathetic attempt to guilt-trip her own daughter. Not the arsehole. Honestly, this environment sounds so toxic. You wouldn't even be the arsehole if you relinquished responsibility of your current brother. If you can, then you deserve to go live your life. If your mother can't care for your brother, she shouldn't have another baby. Yes, this. I have compassion for your brother, absolutely, and his care is not your responsibility. At all. You are not his parent. You are not ethically responsible to continue to give up your life to act as a substitute parent, a role that you never chose. Not the arsehole. Your mum keeps having kids she can't support, and she's guilting you into being a second parent to make her life easier. Where is the actual father of this baby? He should be in this role, not you. She needs to stop having kids with absent men and expecting her older children to fill the role of daddy. You are a young adult. You deserve to be free to live your own life and focus on your own growth instead of being tied down to your mother's bad choices. Anyway guys, I think that's where I'm going to end today's video. If you did like it, tell me what you thought about it down in the comments below, and make sure to just interact with everyone in this community. I love each and every one of you that I get to see on a daily basis. And don't forget, if you are a Patreon subscriber, I love you. You're on the screen right now with the YouTube members as well. If you see yourself, give yourself a pat in the back. You guys help me continue this YouTube journey. You keep me going. I see you guys everywhere. I see your messages, and thank you so much for supporting me. I really love every single one of you. But with that all said, I'm going to be signing off now, guys. I hope you have a good day, night, sleep, whatever you're up to, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.